Moving on, Iran still drifting further and further from compliance with the 2015 JCPOA nuclear deal, and negotiations between Iran and the P5+1 powers to return to the deal is still at a standoff. Israel, then, ever the critic of the deal, still hoping to sway Western policy. Prime Minister Bennett scheduled to meet with United States President Biden on Thursday, where he will reportedly present an alternative strategy for confronting both Iran's nuclear program as well as its malign activities in the region, and without returning to the arguably defunct JCPOA.
איראן מתנהגת בצורה בריונית ואגרסיבית בכל רחבי האזור. אני אומר לנשיא ביידן שזה הזמן לבלום את האיראנים, לעצור את הדבר הזה, לא לתת להם חבל הצלה בדמות כניסה מחדש להסכם גרעין שכבר פג התוקף שלו, הוא כבר לא רלוונטי גם לשיטת מי שחשב פעם שהוא רלוונטי. אנחנו נציג תוכנית סדורה שבנינו בחודשיים האחרונים לבלימת האיראנים גם במימד הגרעיני וגם במימד של התוקפנות האזורית.
Joining us with more is senior analyst at the Abba-Eban Institute of Reichman University and IDF major in the reserves, Danny Citrinowicz. Major, thank you so much for being with us. Now, first off, Bennett will reportedly argue that the 2015 JCPOA is no longer relevant, as we just heard, given the Ayatollah's rapid nuclear advancements, uranium enrichment, and support for proxy terror. But many still believe that it is the best of all the bad options. What do you think?
Well, the question is, okay, let's assume that Prime Minister Bennett is thinking about alternative to JCPOA. What is the alternative? Unfortunately, I can't see any alternative right now. Now, the JCPOA is far from being complete ultimate agreement. I agree on that. But it really pushed back the Iranian nuclear program. Now, it will be very hard to find some sort of a silver bullet outside the JCPOA that will push back the Iranian in the nuclear front. Now, I understand the dilemmas. I understand that the fact that returning back to JCPOA will really strengthen those conservatives within Iran, like President Raisi, of course, Supreme Leader Khamenei. But unfortunately, I cannot see any other option to really roll back the Iranian nuclear agreement other than the JCPOA.
So what do you think Bennett's solution will entail? You know, what could possibly work to address the nuclear issue and the proxy terror issue?
I think that Bennett has two options, actually, when coming to the White House. The first option is being some sort of duplicating his predecessor policy, meaning that saying not returning back to JCPOA, adding unrealistic subject to the agreement like the Iranian missile program or its regional activity. And if he will take or endorse this kind of policy, then nobody will listen to him. His word will be heard, but nobody in the state will listen to him because the United States really want to return back to JCPOA. The other option is being fruitful. I'm saying fruitful is that I think that what he needs to present to the president, the US president, is some sort of a plan how to cooperate together, how build joint teams that will discuss what will happen if the JCPOA will collapse, how we can rebuild some sort of coalition regime, sanction regime, that will allow us together with other members of the international community to put a lot of pressure on Iran if they'll continue their nuclear program. I think this is some sort of an approach that really will be endorsed by the US president. Discussing unrealistic actions or presenting intelligence information that the American already have, like discussion on Raisi and what he did 20 or 30 years ago, this is really irrelevant. We need to think on a positive way how to cooperate with the current administration. We have to understand the administration really want to return back to the agreement. We have to understand that the administration have other or bigger fish to fry, like the Chinese issue that is much more important to the current administration than Iran. And if we understand that, working with a cooperative way with the current administration, I think that we can really join forces in front of Iran. If we present only unrealistic approach, then nothing will develop and we'll see Iran pushing forward in its nuclear program.
So, Major, setting aside for just a moment the Iran issue, there's also an issue, a breakdown of trust in the wake of the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Many, including on interviews here at ILTV have questioned the Biden administration's trustworthiness, particularly after Biden's 2010 comments on Afghanistan resurfaced, in which the then vice president dismissed humanitarian concerns of a quick exit, saying that we don't have to worry about it because we did it in Vietnam and Nixon and Kissinger got away with it. So how much stock should Israel really be putting in what the Biden administration is saying? Can they still be trusted in terms of dealing with Iran and keeping Israel as an ally of the United States, Israel's best interests at heart?
I think the administration has proven in recent years that you really understand the need to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. I think the JCPOA in the mind of the current administration is some sort of maybe the only option to block Iranian from progressing to nuclear weapons. So in that fact, I think that they already proven that. Regarding the Afghanistan issue, look, there were a lot of analysis on this issue, but I don't think there is a correlation between Iran and Afghanistan. I think the American administration understands the jeopardy in Iran acquiring nuclear weapons. I think they will do the utmost in order to prevent that. And I think that they are obliged to defend Israel. So in that sense, there is no correlation between two subjects. I really think that we can work together with the administration, but only if they will understand the constraint. And again, like I said in the beginning, coming with a positive approach and not unrealistic approach.
All right. Major in the Reserves, Danny Citrinowicz, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you very much.